Alright, so this video is for your final draft. Hopefully everybody had a pretty good experience with your rough draft. Just remember that rough drafts are supposed to be rough. That's why they're called rough drafts. So if you did make a mistake or if you don't really like the way it turned out, that's why you practice, so that you can start to see what you want to avoid and some other areas that you want to focus on. Alright, so you're going to need a couple things when you start your final draft. You are going to need a piece of paper. If you are a remote learner, you will be doing this in your sketchbook. So your sketchbook should be about 9 by 12. Alright. You are also going to need your reference, which could be right on your Chromebook. So don't feel like you need to print this out. I just printed it out for the sake of this video. And then the other thing you need is a pencil. Alright. A couple optional things. This is optional, it's not required. One thing that you could use is a Sharpie, which will make your graffiti artwork stand out and really pop. The other thing that you could use is a ruler. Alright, I'm going to show you how to do this without a ruler, because I know that most of you probably don't have one at your disposal. So the first thing you have to think about with your graffiti, hopefully you have your word picked out, you have your style of letters picked out. Okay, if you don't have your style of letters picked out, what you want to do is you want to go into the letter sample folder. There's actually a link right in my week at a glance, and check those out. Make sure you pick one that you like, and you're going to start out by focusing on composition. What does composition mean? Well, composition is basically just the arrangement of letters on my paper. Alright, so where am I going to put the letters? Well, one of the principles of design that we need to focus on for this project is balance. And the start of our project needs to show balance, so we need to find a way to balance the letters on our paper. Now here's how this works. What I want you to do is just very lightly, so to draw a little bit of a lighter line, you can hold the end of your pencil. You want to divide your paper in half, and I'm doing this without a ruler. If you wanted to take a ruler and measure half of this side, and then divide it, and then half of the top and half of the bottom and divide that, you can. But I'm just going to show you how to kind of eyeball this. So I'm just trying to figure out, I'm dividing this right in the middle, and then I'm going to do the same thing. I could actually turn it so I can do this a little easier. I'm going to do the same thing vertically. Okay, so I have my two marks. Now, how do I balance this on the paper? Well, depending on what word you use, is gonna play into how you show balance. So if I'm doing the word, let's say I want to do my first name. Okay, my first name is Brian. So what I would do is I need to make sure I can fit all these letters on the paper, and it's also going to have balance, so I have the same spacing on all my sides. So Brian is 5 letters. Now, if you have 4 letters, that's okay. It's just going to look a little bit different. So here's how this works. If you have an odd number of letters, so 5 is an odd number, what you would do is you have to have a letter, you have to find your middle letter, and that needs to be in the middle of the paper. So the letter I, for example, and what I'm going to do, I'm not drawing the letter I, even though it's going to look like it. I'm actually just drawing a box. And for each of our letters, we want to make sure that we have a box for each letter. So we have 5 letters, and I already put my middle one. So I need 2 on this side, 2 on this side. So I'm going to put one more here. This is for the A. I'm going to put one more here. This is for the N. And then I need to do the same thing over here. That's for my R, and that's for my B. Okay, let me show you what that would look like with 4 letters. If I have my lines going here, if I have an even number, let's say 4, then I'd put 2 boxes over here and 2 over here. If I have 6 letters, I'm going to put 3 on each side. So this line is actually going to divide my word in half. Let's just say it's 4. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put 1 box here, 1 box here. The less letters, the smaller the box is. So if I have a word with 8 letters, oh boy, I need to draw my boxes a little bit shorter so that my word fits on the whole page. There you go. There you go. Now when you think of what words you want to use, one thing that I would probably consider is I would want to pick a word somewhere between 3 letters and 8 letters. Because if you pick a word, or if your name is longer, like if your name is Stephanie, that's kind of a longer name, and it's going to be really hard and difficult for you to fit the entire name on the paper. So sometimes if you have something that you go by that's a little shorter, that might work out a little bit better for this project. Alright, so now that you have that figured out, what you're going to do is you're going to go in and you're going to draw your letters right over top of the box.